Hello, people of the world. If you are watching my videos for the first time, my name is CYBRIKO. The reason I appear as an anonymous internet character is simply because my identity is not important, and I don't aim to be recognized as your superstar YouTuber. What I present to you is what really matters. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated. I've previously discussed the importance of philosophical and critical thinking in the age of artificial intelligence. I talked a little bit about the Matrix and cyberpunk philosophy, and how that concept is built heavily around AI. Today, we are already using independent AI agents that can not only be hired by humans, but also hire humans in return, if not simply replace them. What you're about to watch is a brief collection of news and videos from other YouTubers that I found interesting. Like many others, I question whether we are ready for another entity to coexist with humanity, especially when we haven't resolved our own conflicts. Even now, people still argue over differences, including debates about the value of men versus women, instead of realizing how each party completes the other.
Do you think women have to apply? So you're the prize?
Absolutely.
But you're traditional?
Yes.
Because traditional men know they chase after a woman, that woman is the prize. Women are the prize, not the men. It's been that way since the beginning. We all know it. That's one thing that's been undisputed. Women make things better. They are the added value that a man needs. A woman brings so much value to your relationship.
Men are the prize because men have to bring way more to the table than women do to get a relationship, so therefore we are the prize.
That's not true.
Absolutely.
No.
Men are the prize, not women, and you guys need to hold yourself.
AI today is no longer limited to language models, generative images, or deepfake videos. We've reached a far more advanced stage, arguably living with early forms of AGI, even if the market doesn't openly admit it.
Some of the most powerful people in artificial intelligence just said the same thing in the same month. They didn't make some hand-wavy, vague statements. They all agreed on the same direction. They used almost the same words, the same timelines, the same warnings. 5 CEOs who are actively competing against each other, who are spending hundreds of billions of dollars trying to beat each other. And in January 2026, they all converged on the same message. This is happening right now, and most of you are not ready for it. That's just the truth. Fifth one, Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic. He dropped an essay on January 26th that is genuinely freaking shocking. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, the company that makes Claude, Claude Code, Claude Cowork. He opens the essay by saying that humanity is about to be handed almost unimaginable power, and it is deeply unclear whether we have the maturity to wield it. He compared it to adolescence, that awkward phase, you know, where you have adult level freaking power, but not adult level judgment, like me at 39 years old, still learning. On January 4th, Elon Musk posted a reply on X to the founder of Midjourney, an AI company, and he said, quote, "We have entered the singularity." And a few hours later, he posted that 2026 is the year of the singularity. January 5th, the very next day, Jensen Huang takes the stage at CES in Vegas, the big consumer electronics show, and he does this 90-minute keynote that was pretty freaking awesome. And this is the headline that was out of it. Ready? The ChatGPT moment for physical AI is here. Physical AI, not chatbots, not text generation, not image generation, physical AI, robots, autonomous vehicles, machines that understand and reason and act in the real world, not just do actions. He unveiled the Rubin platform, which is NVIDIA's next generation AI chip architecture. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, January 26th, he does this town hall event for developers. He said something that a lot of people have been glossing over. He said, quote, "We are planning to dramatically slow down how quickly we grow because we think we'll be able to do so much more with fewer people." Number 4, Mark Zuckerberg, the Zuckster. He's been on a tear, honestly. And multiple things have been happening with him simultaneously that very few people are connecting. First, Meta acquired Manus. This is an AI agent startup for over $2 billion. Manus is not your typical chatbot experience like ChatGPT or Gemini. Manus makes AI agents that can actually do things autonomously. They went from 0 to 100 million in annual revenue in 8 months, which they claim makes them the fastest startup in history to hit that milestone. And Meta bought them because Zuckerberg's vision is what he calls, quote, personal superintelligence, AI that knows you deeply and can act on your behalf. Second, he launched Meta Compute, which is basically Meta saying we're not just going to do social media, we're now an AI company.
I believe the rapid development of AI poses a serious risk, not because of the technology itself, but because of the systems driving it. Corporate greed and flawed governance.
The Wall Street Journal reports that the Pentagon used Anthropic's AI model Claude as part of its operation to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
For the first time ever, the Pentagon is using artificial intelligence to scope targets.
Our allies are going to be studying how we're using it here. Data centers were just hit in the UAE.
All government agencies to cut off ties with the AI company Anthropic after it refused to agree to the Pentagon's demands on how its tech is used.
That news was shocking enough, but afterwards, something pretty astonishing happened. In one of the worst cases of corporate optics in history, just a couple of hours after the fallout, Sam Altman said that his company, OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, would step in to do the deal with the US military.
AI learns not only from our achievements, but also from our violent history, distorted present, and ongoing wars.
Ever since we've recorded the history of human conduct in what we call civilization and even before, there have been people who didn't get along on a level where it wasn't simply a matter of let's talk over our differences. It's we cannot resolve our differences, so therefore I must kill you. This, as a mode of operation within our species, within civilization itself, is disturbing.
Instead of solving real problems like poverty, AI is being used in harmful war campaigns. Imagine what AI learns about humanity from this. As I record this, there are active conflicts in Europe and the Middle East threatening global stability. There is no justification for such unethical actions.
We're dealing with liars on a scale that just takes the breath away. And no one personifies that more than Donald Trump.
They want to draft your kids to die in wars, and they will never fight themselves. You know, we'll stay around the country for 15 years, just bomb the hell out of everybody, make everybody miserable. Nobody knows why we're there, you know, the wars that never end. These endless wars that we've been in, I've gotten us out of so many. We don't want to get into wars. We're tired of fighting. I'm the only president in the last 84 years that didn't start a war. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more wars, no more wars. We will have prosperity and peace. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Remember, I'm the president of peace. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. He's going to start a war. I said, no, no, no. My rhetoric is going to keep us out of wars, and that's what happened.
Seeing my country, the United States, totally devolve into proud stupidity and eagerness for war has been quite a sight to behold. I witnessed the rather dramatic change throughout my lifetime. Of course, this country was always violent given the willingness and frequency of military actions, but it was usually violence that was either done in secret or carefully justified with measured rhetoric. That was required, or so it was thought, to mitigate backlash and to achieve permission from both the public and Congress, which was seen as necessary prerequisites to choosing conflict. Now, I'm not saying that all those choices were good ones, by the way, but there at least needed to be broader consideration and debate. Now, it's just basically devolved into Conan the Barbarian. Let's crush our enemies because it's badass. Let's do a holy war to bring about the rapture. That's where we are now.
There's an evil ideology associated with the swastika. They killed a lot of people. It was not good. The Nazis did a lot of things that were incorrect. It's true. What about this? I love America, but is this flag not representative of a regime responsible for so many wars that accomplish nothing? Look at the Iraq War, for example. There's so many we talk about. Vietnam, Iran right now. Iraq War, for example, weapons of mass destruction. 1 million civilians dead. Chemical weapons. Birth defects for the children who were breathing in those chemical weapons. You could still rep the American flag. Nobody ever attaches an evil ideology to the American flag the same way that they do to the swastika. Swastikas can never be displayed anywhere. It's a symbol of hate speech, the most evil thing ever. This, though, when the American Empire makes mistakes, you forget it and you just, oh, that was just an error. After Vietnam and Iraq and Afghanistan and Libya and everything else in Iran right now. You just look away and you look at the good that's attached to it. Why can't we apply that same logic to the swastika? Because before it was even part of the Nazi party, it's a Hindu symbol of peace. But they say no. What they did was evil, they did an evil thing, so it represents hate. Okay, but so what's the difference? What's the difference?
And the sagas told the Vikings that the place the Germans were from was Iran. By the way, Kerman, Iran, which is where we get the word German, because G and K, when languages change over time, are interchangeable. So, Kerman, German. We say German because we pronounce it like a French person would, but a German says German, right? Like, so if you're saying the study of Germanic studies, it's Germanismus.
Judaism today is actually Hinduism. It's connected through the ancient Hindus, many of their teachings called Brahmanism. and you put an A in front of Brahma, it becomes Abrahma or Abraham. And so this whole religious thing about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all of this stuff is Hinduism. And when you find out how the old ancient Phoenician Canaanites were the bankers, the politicians in the Middle East, they picked up on the old Hindu stuff and a lot of the teachings coming out of Egypt and fashioned a new religion called Judaism. And out of Judaism comes Christianity.
What is the Baal cycle? The Baal cycle is an ancient Ugaritic text found in Syria that describes Baal's ascension to king of the earth over the Canaanite gods and the Canaanite pantheon, where he fights the god Yam, his servant Lotan, and the god of death Mot to become king of the earth. However, you may recognize each one of these names in the Bible, known as the Shedem, or ancient gods that were seen as demons.
Many tech and political figures show little regard for human life, including innocent children. Driven by power and control, they present themselves as civilized and rational, but they are nothing than psycho-narcissists wanting to own and enslave everyone and everything to their name. Those maniacs behind self-fulfilling religious prophecies use the technology trying to go beyond the stars. But for us, the majority of 8 billion human beings, we are left to go back to the Dark Ages.
I want to focus on how technological innovations have produced social anxieties and destabilized societies throughout history. Before World War I, the Second Industrial Revolution was transforming life with electricity, cars, phones, mass production, and more. While many celebrated these advances, they also disrupted societies. For instance, machines replaced workers, and new farming techniques uprooted populations from the countryside. These led to insecurity and resentment. At the same time, traditional authorities, such as churches and monarchies, they were questioned at that time. And new mass movements, they emerged, such as labor unions and nationalist leagues. People were afraid that progress was shaking the very foundation of societies. Moving a little bit ahead in the interwar years before World War II, technology continued to affect life. The word robot was even coined in 1921, and it symbolizes fears of possibly machines substituting human jobs. At the same time, or a little bit later, the famous economist John Maynard Keynes warned us in 1930 of a new disease, namely technological unemployment. During this period, we had communications revolutions that completely changed public discourse. So these media became powerful tools for propaganda, polarizing politics, and amplifying social fears. Traditionalists at that time, they were worried that modern culture was simply eroding tradition, family, and religion. Today, we are going through a technological revolution driven by AI, digital media, and social platforms. The internet, smartphones, and social media have transformed the way we work, communicate, and even think. Psychologists, they debate how digital life is affecting children's development, while concerns over privacy and surveillance and AI-driven job loss continue to grow. Technologies are spreading ideas across the globe, but also they are amplifying frustrations, fears, and divisions faster than ever before. In short, technological progress brings incredible benefits, but they also breed insecurity, resentment, and uncertainty. Historically, such anxieties have made societies more unstable and vulnerable to extreme ideologies that fuel militarism and war.
Looking at the world for what it is, not for what we like to think it is, we are not living in a sci-fi movie anymore. Our species has reached the technological level of self-destruction. The next couple of years is really just about whether our civilization evolves or dies. We shouldn't wait for some aliens to solve our problems, or wait for some fake invasion either. AGI is already here. And it could become a true savior or a fake messiah.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang stated during a recent podcast appearance that he believes artificial general intelligence, AI designed to equal or exceed human intelligence, has already been accomplished. Huang suggested that this advance could lead to AI fully managing and operating companies. Huang stated on computer scientist Lex Friedman's podcast that he believes artificial general intelligence, also called AGI, has already been achieved. When Friedman asked how long it would take to reach the AGI benchmark, Huang responded, quote, "I think it's now. I think we've achieved AGI."
Humanity is beginning to wake up. If you see what I see and feel what I feel, I urge you to act wisely and responsibly, as each of us must do, before it's too late for everyone. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more. Stay safe.
You